What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Crypt's List, where we break down the best of the best when it comes to pop culture. And today we got a special one for you, as we're going to be counting down the top 10 greatest Playboy centerfolds of all time.
Giggity, 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 giggity.
Yeah, we know. You probably just read it for the articles, though, right?
You probably read Playboy for the articles.
Hey, I look at the pictures.
For those of you born during the internet age, you may not remember, but that was a running gag between men and women back in the day. Women would say men were pigs for reading the magazine and looking at the ladies, and men would always say, oh, we just read it for the cool articles and the interviews, which of course
was total bullshit.
But to be fair, Playboy did have its fair share of cool interviews and articles, and it had more than its fair share of controversial interviews. Sean Connery, or the great
Bond, James Bond,
said, I don't think there's anything particularly wrong about hitting a woman. An open-handed slap is justified. If all other alternatives fail and there's been plenty of warning, if a woman is a bitch or hysterical or bloody-minded continually, then I'd do it.
I haven't changed my opinion.
You haven't?
No.
Yeah, he said that shit.
Well, it was just something that somebody had to do.
John Wayne endorsed white supremacy and said that Hollywood had gone to hell because of the baguettes.
What the fuck did you just call me?
Well, he said something similar to baguettes, but we don't have to say it. You fucking get it. Just because he's a prick doesn't mean we have to be.
I wouldn't make it a habit calling me that, son.
But it was shocking when he said it then, and honestly, it's shocking now.
Well, that's not important right now.
Go and check out some of the wild shit that has come out during interviews with Playboy. We don't know if it's because the ladies in it get naked and revealing, and that leads to the interviewee feeling like they got to do the same thing. But like Snoop Dogg justified innocent bystanders getting shot in an interview, saying, shit, yes, if you're trying to get somebody and this might be the only time you're going to catch them, but he is holding his baby with his mama, you ain't going to let that chance go by. That's the mentality of the streets. If you let that chance go by, he might catch your ass.
I'm a poet.
Yeah, the dude that the Olympics just had over in Paris said that shit in a Playboy interview.
Another satisfied customer.
Colin Farrell said there's nothing wrong with a little bit of heroin.
Thank you for recognizing the distinction.
And Gary Oldman said,
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
shit, Gary Oldman said so much shit, I ain't even going to get into it, man. Go and check that out yourself. But wild shit, man, I promise you.
Okay, clever bollocks. What's it all mean?
But we aren't here today to bullshit you and tell you we were reading it for the articles or the newest stereo equipment, although Playboy did have you covered if that was your thing.
I prefer sex.
But no, we are here to talk about the hotties, the girls who were the centerfolds. And just a show note on that one, don't hit us up with comments like she wasn't technically a Playboy or a Playmate, Bunny, because they weren't using terms like that then, or any other absurdly ridiculous shit like that. In fact, if you are the type of cat that leaves comments like that, fix your fucking life, man.
Man ain't wrong about that.
But that being said, we didn't just list hot celebrities who have been nude in the magazine.
I was in Playboy.
As far as we know, every single one of our top 10 was a centerfold for at least a month in the magazine.
It's going to be a great sploogey month.
Before the world walked around with little computers in their pockets, there was no access to just have spank material at your disposal.
Now porn is just on your smartphone.
It was a different era. Young people were forced to watch scrambled porn that came on Super TV, a thing that was kind of like HBO before HBO, but with parental controls, turned the images scrambled and shitty for the dirty movies. But man, back then it was all we had, and I remember yelling to my buddy, I think I just saw a nipple.
Oh, tits! Boobies, boobies, boobies!
And it would do, my friends. Oh, it would do. But before all of that, the game changer was Playboy magazine, with its naked ladies on full display, and although controversial for sure, Playboy was a hit.
Oh, I love your magazine.
So let's get to the top 10 hotties to ever be a centerfold in Playboy magazine.
This is what we've been waiting for.
Here we go. Number 10, Jayne Mansfield, Miss February 1955.
That was a long time ago.
Our 10th spot is occupied by a name that many of you older cats will remember, but some of the youngsters may only know that she was Mariska Hargitay or Detective Olivia Benson from Law & Order's SVU's Real Life Mama.
My mother was the actress Jayne Mansfield.
And as they say, it's all in the genes, because Jayne was the definition of blonde bombshell.
She is rich, she is beautiful, she is blonde.
She was often lovingly referred to as the smartest dumb blonde in the 50s and early 60s.
I'm no dummy.
She gained most of her popularity as Rita Marlowe in Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter on Broadway and then in the movie. In the 1963 comedy flick Promises, Promises, she became one of the first major American actresses to perform in the nude in the post-silent era.
And she showed me her boobies, and I like them too.
She was romantically tied to both Robert and John Kennedy, much like Marilyn Monroe, and in further proof that life can be a random, chaotic bag of dog shit, she was unalived in an auto accident at only 34 years old.
Well, that sucks.
Number 9, Shanna Moakler, Miss December 2001. Going back almost as far as Playboy itself is the tie of Playmates and rockers.
Spare us the tired old cliches.
It has honestly become the stuff of legend at this point, and Shanna, as she is currently known as Shanna Barker, wife of Travis Barker of Blink-182, are exactly that, Playmate and rocker.
Look, we see this all the time.
And let's be honest, we started as a metal show at our court, so we're not big fans of the band personally, but we pass no judgment on fans of the band.
I'm so sorry.
After being Miss New York and Miss USA, she went on to date Billy Idol back in the day, and showed up in the Adam Sandler flick The Wedding Singer with him for a quick cameo.
Some creeping coach who thinks he's Don Johnson just asked me to be part of the Mile High Club.
She was also a regular in Pacific Blue and several other shows and movies. She was also involved with boxer Oscar De La Hoya.
It's by far the best moment of my life.
And actor Dennis Quaid.
We both have sunny dispositions.
Before hooking up with Barker and doing a reality TV show together called Meet the Barkers.
I'm freaking out. It's like the longest 2 hours.
She wins points with us for apparently once throwing hands with Paris Hilton.
That's hot.
Number 8, Kimberly Conrad, Miss January 1988. Number 8 for us is so hot that she was number 2 for Hugh Hefner himself, as in his second wife and the mother of 2 of his 4 kids, and was even Playmate of the Year in 1989. She returned to do another nude collection again for Playboy in 2017 at the age of 55, and was still hotter than Bad Barbie on her best day.
Catch me outside, how about that?
Her and Hef stayed married for 9 years and divorced when their youngest turned 18. And when Hef's third wife, Crystal, wrote a book talking shit about the cat after he died, it was Kimberly who came to Hef's defense, saying, among other things, that Crystal was trying to make a quick buck by bad-mouthing the late Playboy founder, and said, "We should be wary of those who try to destroy things because they are no longer benefiting from them." Hear, hear, Kimberly. Hear, hear.
I hear you.
Number 7, Pamela Anderson, Miss February 1990. What were we saying about Playmates and rockers?
You already forgot.
Well, Pamela Anderson might be the poster child for this phenomenon, as she has been tied to or married to everyone from Tommy Lee from Motley Crue to Kid Rock. Although, does Kid Rock really count as a rocker?
Fuck no.
We have questions. What the fuck is a ball with the ball? Most of you who grew up in the 90s likely know her best as C.J. Parker from Baywatch, where she bounced around in a swimsuit with Germany's favorite star, David Hasselhoff. And some may even remember when she was the Tool Time girl on Tim Allen's sitcom, Home Improvement. She was in a few movies and TV shows and is even tied to the upcoming revival of the Naked Gun franchise that Seth MacFarlane has resurrected with Liam Neeson in the role once held by Leslie Nielsen. We shall see, my friends.
Try not to fuck it up.
I won't forget what you've done for me here today.
I would prefer that you do.
Anyway, we can't bring up Pamela without talking about her being involved in the most famous sex tape to ever be leaked in history, when the honeymoon of her and Tommy's video footage ended up being viewed by the world and answered for us the question, if I had enough money, would I steer my yacht with my cock while my Playmate wife giggles in the nude behind me? And apparently, yes. Yes, I would.
You better fucking believe it.
More power to you, man. Oh, and quick note, the Comedy Central roast of Pam was the best one ever. Respect. R.I.P. Greg Giraldo.
People can't help but love you. You got unbelievable talent, and you're America's sweetheart. You're a Canadian, but those tits were made in America. Thank you very much.
Number 6, Anna Nicole Smith, Miss May 1992. And hey, speaking of the Naked Gun movies, the last time we saw one, it was part 3, The Final Insult in 1994. And Anna was our hot eye candy character in that one, and man, was she hot.
You're all men. I like that in my men.
She was the Playmate of the Year in 1993 and modeled everything from Lane Bryant to Guess jeans. Sadly, most people remember her for her marriage to 89-year-old billionaire J. Howard Marshall when she was only 27, that led to a lengthy battle over his cash when he died only a year later, with a smile on his face from his asshole to Texas.
Oh, who could blame him?
He has since sent us all a letter from the afterlife that just reads, "Fucking worth it."
What can I say? It was awesome.
She unfortunately prematurely left this planet with more legal drugs in her system than a Walgreens, most of which were written to her husband and not to her, which sucks because she was a small-time girl.
Living in a lonely world.
Who hit it big and hit it too hard. Moving on to number 5, Shannon Tweed. Shannon Tweed, Miss November 1981. Or should we call her Mrs. Jean Simmons? Especially after the world got an intimate look into her and their family's lives when she went from Playboy fame to softcore erotica or Skinamax style flicks to reality TV with the family and Jean Simmons' Family Jewels, which was 6 years of a peek into the life of her marriage to Kiss bassist and legendary asshole Jean Simmons.
And wear shades because the sun never sets on planet Cool.
She was Playmate of the Year in 1982 and is still married to Jean since 2011 till today.
Let's give her a fucking medal.
Along with her sharing a bunch of skin in the B movies, and by B movies I mean boner. She also appeared in Dukes of Hazzard, Married with Children, and even Days of Our Lives in Frasier.
I am so attracted to you right now.
She deserves a bigger award than being a part of this list just for being with Jean since 1983, while he cheated on her only about a few thousand times.
What a dickhead.
Yeah, total dickhead, man.
Which is wild, man, because she's pretty damn hot. Hot enough to take down the number 5 spot on our list even. Number 4, Bettie Page, Miss January 1955. Bettie Page, or the Queen of Pinups, had her trademark jet black hair and blue eyes, and she redefined sexuality in her day.
And boy, did she ever.
Now an iconic pop culture figure, Bettie was a hottie from Nashville, Tennessee, and went on to be one of the very first Playboy bunnies ever.
Do you think that she invented the hand job?
Ooh, no, I don't. But she did say she started the finger in the ass during a blowjob. Yeah, she's a pioneer.
In high school, she was voted most likely to succeed, and she definitely did that. In fact, she succeeded in being the very first famous bondage model after doing photos in the BDSM theme, and she would even do specialty request videos for her clients. Kind of like an OnlyFans page back in the day.
Hey, she is onto something.
She liked to sometimes play the dominatrix in her photos, and in others she would play the victim. But in all of them, she was smoking hot.
Oh man, she is so hot.
In addition to being the Queen of Pinups, she was also known as the Queen of Curves and the Dark Angel from her work, and was one of the most demanded models for her time. And man, do we get it.
Yowza!
Number 3, Jenny McCarthy, Miss October 1993.
Oh yeah, Chris.
Before the TV shows and Jim Carrey marriage, she was a Playboy bunny, and then a Playmate of the Year in 1994. And say what you want about her so-called fringe health beliefs, but she was anti-vaccine long before Corona came along to make it cool.
We do not need that many vaccines.
Jenny is another bunny who aimed to get all she could out of her recognition and has turned up in a ton of TV and movie projects, from Scream 3 to John Tucker Must Die to her own sitcom called Jenny, and even a stint on The View with those cackling ladies over there.
It is true.
Our personal favorite role is the rich wife on Basketball.
I finally got all the comb off this for you.
Nice.
You want me to start on this one?
Before she got her medical degree. Yeah, we are kidding, of course, but that didn't stop her from writing several books on parenting and vaccines. And not to get off on a tangent here, gang, but if you don't trust the science, maybe you should fix your fucking life.
I love it when he says that.
And maybe she should go back to judging The Masked Singer after the mileage she's sure to get from appearing on this list at number 3.
So I was like, awesome.
Which brings us to number 2, Dorothy Stratten, Miss August 1979. Yet another of our bunnies who was also a Playmate of the Year, as Miss Stratten took down that award in 1980. Stratten remains the greatest gift Canada has ever given to the world.
Let us not forget Bryan Adams.
Please forgive me.
We kid, Canada. You know what it's all about.
I want to know what this is all about.
Anyway, Stratten was working at a Dairy Queen melting all of that ice cream.
You could melt all this stuff.
When she started dating a promoter named Paul Snyder, who took some nude photos of her and sent them into the magazine, which led to her being featured in it. And then she was working as a waitress in a cocktail bar.
When I met you.
All right, maybe as a bunny in a Playboy club in Los Angeles. But then she got roles in Buck Rogers and Fantasy Island, while everyone, including Hugh Hefner, told her to lose her controlling husband.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Which she finally did and started dating director Peter Bogdanovich, who directed her in the movie They All Laughed, alongside John Ritter of Three's Company fame. She increasingly became a stalking victim of her ex, who was having trouble letting her go, and ultimately proved to be made of fecal matter.
What a piece of shit.
As this shit nugget, after getting her to agree to meet him one last time, chose to unalive her instead of letting her get out of this fucking relationship. He took her out with a sawed-off pew-pew and then took his own life. She was 20 years old at the time.
It's a fucking shame.
And that brings us to number 1 on our list of greatest playmates of all time.
Drum roll, please.
Number 1 is Marilyn Monroe, December 1953. The first ever issue of Playboy to hit the streets changed the way we touched our meats.
That was funny.
Number 1 comes from an interesting story and an interesting life. From movie fame to being tied to 2 of the Kennedys, Marilyn Monroe is perhaps the most iconic person in the history of this country, and definitely one of the sexiest starlets of all time.
The kind of peace that makes life on Earth worth living.
She was the very first centerfold in the very first issue of Playboy, and she never got a dime for it.
That's fucked up.
The nude image used on the cover was from a 1949 photo shoot she did under the pseudonym Mona Monroe. Hugh Hefner bought the photos for $500 and the very first Playboy bunny was born.
I think he just craved a little affection. You know, a sense of being loved and needed and wanted.
Oddly apt for the personification of sexiness to also be the very first Playmate in our opinion. She was married 3 times, once to New York Yankee legend Joe DiMaggio, and the conspiracies about her death and even her post-life body are absolutely fucking insane.
It's a pretty bizarre series of events.
If you ever have a few hours to kill and are feeling spunky, go get on YouTube and go down the rabbit hole of all of the conspiracy theories that involve her, because some of them are fucking mind-blowing.
It's gonna blow your mind.
Like the one about JFK told her about the existence of aliens just so he could bang her.
Okay, I heard that one.
And then the government had to take her out to keep her from talking.
Mission accomplished.
Whatever the fiction may be, the facts are that she was the first, and in our opinion, she was also the best to ever do the centerfold thing.
She was the best.
Please don't forget to like and follow us. We'll see you here next time on the Crypt's Lists.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right?